Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra!
Hey guys, and welcome back to What If Naruto was the reincarnation of Yujiro Hanma. Now we left off with Naruto basically punching Neji in the nuts and him falling to the ground with Naruto basically choking him out, about to kill Neji, actually just literally until the proctor calls the match. Naruto would look at the proctor, releasing Neji as his body fell limp to the ground, and he would look at the proctor and say, "Why did you do that? Why did you stop the match?" That is very annoying, as Naruto shot a glare at the proctor which sends shivers down his spine, and the proctor would say, "The match is over. He's lost. He's fell unconscious." And Naruto would look at Neji and say to him, "Well, you did this to yourself. I wonder how you will feel when you wake up. Will you come and challenge me again? Or will you question what destiny has taught you this far?" And to you, Proctor, he's basically brought this upon himself. A person who would attack their family members so, angrily, so bitterly. He had all intentions of killing his flesh and blood. A guy that shoulders no remorse towards his loved ones. Yes, some guy. He is, right? Hinata, well, Lady Hinata up there, is a bright and brilliant Konoichi. She's incredibly shy, and that gets on my goddamn nerves, but I sense strength within her. Somewhat. Anyway. Am I good? Did I win? Or are you gonna say I disqualified or something? And the proctor would go to tell Naruto, no. You won. And this is where the crowd would cheer, somewhat, but they would cheer. And Naruto would go back to the stands, all the while waiting for Sasuke to return. Meanwhile, Naruto's just walking around casually, and he just ends up just posting up somewhere, and he heard people screaming, and then he sees blood splatter, a man being dragged back into the darkness, and Gaara of the Sand walking from the darkness. And he would go to smile at Gaara, just very menacing, with Gaara just basically walking down to the battlefield. And Naruto would just say to himself, that guy really is strong. He's incredibly strong. Meanwhile, Sasuke would return with Kakashi, and this is where Naruto would go to the stands and yell out, "Sasuke! You better not lose, because I want to fight you next." And this is where Sasuke would smile, and he's very intrigued. Well, not intrigued. He's very happy to show Naruto his progress of his training, I guess. So Naruto would sit down in the stands watching Sasuke's fight begin, and Sasuke would rush at Gaara, throwing shuriken very fast enough for Gaara to barely even catch, but he managed to catch it. I'm just saying he barely was able to. So Gaara barely was able to catch those shuriken, and this would have him batting eyes, saying, "What?" And then this is where Sasuke would say in his head, "Well, since Naruto doesn't hold back, I won't either." Sasuke would rush at Gaara with the same speed that Rock Lee used against him when he dropped his weights, hitting Gaara with a barrage of punches, kicks, right hooks, left hooks, front kicks, and slamming Gaara into the ground. Gaara would barely manage to be able to catch up to Sasuke's speed, because he barely was able to do anything against Rock Lee when he was at that speed. And Sasuke would be dancing around Gaara, kicking him, punching him, slamming him against the ground as hard as he could. And Gaara would be feeling the pain, basically crying out in agony. And Sasuke would send a thunderous front kick to his chest area and send him crashing into a wall, leaving a crater. Gaara would fall out of the crater and hit the ground, but he would get back up, battle damaged. And this is where Gaara would get mad, saying, "Ugh." And then he would put his hands together and saying, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill all of you." And he would use his sand spear. Sasuke would come up with the conclusion to try to charge at the sand spear and use his strength to break it. Sasuke would punch the sand spear and it would shatter. The sand spear would shatter. And this is where we're gonna do a little recap about what Sasuke did in his training. So Sasuke, when he was in his training, he was doing push-ups, sit-ups, various amounts of crunches, various amounts of weightlifting. Sasuke was doing mild runs, learning different fighting strategies, even going often telling Kakashi to train him more into taijutsu or in training more into speed. Naruto's been learning more about the martial arts of like the ninja society. He's been learning various different martial arts, even taking some inspiration from Naruto, even getting his own stance. Well, fighting stance. Sasuke has been training very, very, very hard for the past 4 weeks, for the past month. As the days go by, and they were continuing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 1 week. Another week. It was no rest for Sasuke. Sasuke was training so vigorously hard just to catch up to Naruto. Even going as far as to breaking his bones to train as hard as he did. And he would get recovered. Kakashi would have some medical ninja on standby to recover him. And Sasuke would continue his training. And when Sasuke gets back, you can say that Sasuke is like a ripped version, just like Naruto. He's ripped and he has a buff physique. Now, upon from how Sasuke and Naruto is going to look when the time skip happened, I'll let you guys decide that in poll. Well, you already know how Naruto's going to look after the time skip, but I'm going to leave that for a surprise as to how lean or buff he's going to look. But I'm going to leave it into a poll. How do you guys want Sasuke to look? Like, how ripped do you want him to be when I release part 6? Anyway, let's continue on to the story. So, Sasuke would punch the sand dome and shatter it. Not like the spike would cut the side of his cheek and cut the side of his shoulder, but he would punch the sand dome and shatter it and jump back. This is where Sasuke would just like say, for example, you know what? These clothes are holding me back. And it would be revealed to see that I don't doubt that the ninjas, well, Naruto people, whatever it is, the ninjas of that world, the shinobi, would have thought to create like weighted clothing. So Sasuke would take off his shirt, revealing his fit physique. And this is where Sasuke would get into a stance, like a tiger stance, and rush at Gaara and uppercut Gaara. Gaara would use his sand and force Sasuke back, with Sasuke barely being able, not barely being able to dodge. He dodged it really easy. And he would slam a kick into Gaara's head, sending him back to the ground. Gaara is backed into a corner now, and now Gaara is getting mad. As you see, he's starting to transform into the first form of his Shikaku form, when his face is half changed into the Shikaku and his right arm is starting to morph. Gaara would let out a ferocious roar as he screamed at Sasuke, and Sasuke's standing there all casually, but Sasuke's he's has a sweat drop on his head and like he's beginning to back up a little bit, but he's keeping his ground, he's keeping his posture, but he doesn't know what's going on with this sand guy. As Gaara would jump over the tuning wall, he would jump over the tuning wall with Kankuro and Tamari following right after him. And this is where the Konoha Crush arc would begin, as you see these feather-like flower petals falling out of the sky. It wouldn't have phased Naruto, as Naruto saying, well, someone has just implemented a sleep genjutsu. This has no effect on me, so I'm not going to merely worry about it. Kakashi would tell Naruto to basically follow after Gaara, and this is where Naruto would say, no, I'm good. This time I'm not going to follow after him. But Sakura would. Sakura would say, I'll go Kakashi sensei, I'll go provide backup. And this is where Kakashi would tell Sakura just to go help and aid Sasuke in his battle. And Naruto just sitting back saying, Sasuke's got this. But I'm more interested in what's going to happen with the old man. Because I do sense some malicious malevolent intent, whatever the word is, horrific intent. So Naruto would rush over to the third Hokage, and to his surprise, Orochimaru was there, and Orochimaru would be scared. What's this Genin doing here? He's getting in the way. Like Orochimaru is gritting his teeth. He's so angry to the fact that Naruto is there. Why is Naruto here? Why is this Genin in front of him? And the lower third, well, Hiruzen would tell Naruto, "What are you doing here, boy? You need to go." And Naruto would say, "Yeah, right, old man. As I'm gonna pass up another fight with this guy, we didn't even finish where we left off. This time, I'm gonna make you feel pain, you snake freak." As Orochimaru, the Sound Four would put up their sound barrier. And, well, I don't think they would. Let's not say they would. They wouldn't put up their sound barrier because I think Orochimaru wouldn't have himself being trapped in the back corner like that with someone like Naruto. I don't think that would fly too easy or sit too well with him. So Orochimaru would tell the Sound Four, well, the Sound Four were there, but he would tell them to join in on the battle as he would need all the help he can get. And Naruto would say, 5 versus 1. Well, 5 versus 2, I see. Well, let's just even the odds. There's some jutsus that I've learned, and I won't tell you all about my training, but Jiraiya Sensei has been training me very vigorously, very hard. So I'll show you some jutsus that I've mastered. Naruto would pull off the Shadow Clone Jutsu, summoning about 20 Shadow Clones, and then he would put his hand out. He would extend his hand and say, "Orochimaru, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you a chance. Leave the village and take everyone else with you. You have that chance to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to annihilate you right here." As every last one of Naruto's clones formed a Rasengan. Yes, Naruto has the Rasengan. Very early, too. So Orochimaru would sweat as the Rasengan would, every last one of the 20 Narutos that was there would have a giant Rasengan in their hand. And the color of the Rasengan would go to a crimson-like purplish red. Sort of like the Vermilion Rasengan, but more of a darker tone. More of like a darker tone. Sort of how you see in this picture, you see the clouds, the paint splatter. More like this like reddish like hue, this reddish tint like that. The Rasengan would take on that color, and this is where Naruto's eyes would go to a red light, and Naruto would smile saying, "What's your move, Snake Sanin?" Orochimaru and the Sound Four would charge at Naruto and the 20 clones, with Hiruzen being back up and helping out. Naruto's clones would seemingly take like out taijutsu and hit the Sound Four with the Rasengan, and sort of that one guy, the two brothers, he would grab one of Naruto's clones, he would grab the hand where the Rasengan was thrusting at, and he would tell Naruto, it's not going to be that easy to thrust this huge object into someone if you can't throw it. And Naruto would say, "Oh, really?" He would catch his arm, and he would punch him in the face, and keep punching him in the face and saying, "So what can you do now? You basically made it easy for me. I'm not going to let you go. So how are you going to get out of my grip?" He would try to use all his strength to release himself. And I'm basically talking about the two brothers that split apart to fight Kiba. I don't know their name. I don't remember their name. I got to re-jog my mind. But I remember some of their names. But he would be trying to release himself from his grasp, with his brother basically splitting apart from him and trying to help out, with Naruto basically just fast grabbing both of their throats and ripping out their flesh from the throats, and they would fall to the ground with blood spewing from their neck. Naruto would drop the skin that he ripped, drop the area, the Adam's apple that he ripped from their throat. And Naruto would be looking like Ukon and Zakon, that's his name. He would be looking at both of them and saying, "Pathetic, you're both are weak. Not even that little marking thing on you would even help." And this is where he would look at the other three Sound Four and Orochimaru and saying, Well, while they were fighting his other clones, they would be looking at Naruto in his eyes and feeling fear as Taiyuya, he would grab her by the neck and sing, "Wow, so you look very nice." But anyway, you threatened the third Hokage and you were helping this guy trying to kill him. You also accepted my challenge. So, Naruto would deliver a thunderous punch to Taiyuya's stomach, basically encaving her stomach, encaving in, and she would cough up a lot of blood, flying back or flying through the Hokage mansion. And this is where one of Naruto's clones would grab the spider-like dude grab him with his strength, and Naruto would slam a Rasengan dead in his gut, having him spew up blood. Yeah, this guy couldn't do anything. This Rasengan was that strong, too. Being hit with a red Rasengan of Naruto's stature, and Naruto doesn't hold back, so that Rasengan was incredibly at full power. So, when he jabbed that Rasengan into him, yes, he coughed up blood and fell dead. Now you got Jirobo there, and he's feeling an overwhelming fear with Orochimaru just saying, "Retreat! Retreat!" Orochimaru is scared. He cannot do anything to Naruto. I mean, he has nothing up his arsenal. I mean, he could summon the whole snake thing he did, but Naruto would basically body it like he did in the Forest of Death. He could try using his jutsus, using genjutsu, but none of that seems to work on Naruto. He could try using the whole river of snakes that he used against Naruto when he was in Shippuden or something like that. He could try using that attack, but little do he know, he doesn't know if it's gonna be beneficial to him. He doesn't know if it's gonna work out for him. He doesn't know if it's gonna be any help to him. So Naruto is basically looking at because all the Sound 4 are down besides Jirobo and Orochimaru. It's like the names are there. It's like I got the names of my character on the top of my tongue. But suddenly, because that one dude with the glasses with the gray hair, he would come and he would help Orochimaru saying, "My lord, we have to escape. We have to retreat. We're at a checkmate here. If we stay any longer, whoever this kid is, I don't think he's lying about what he said." Orochimaru would try to retreat with Naruto grabbing him and punching him in the stomach, slamming his knee into Orochimaru's neck, with Naruto grabbing Orochimaru by the hair and slamming him on his head. Orochimaru would feel his skull crack as his brain would be slamming against all the regions of his head. Orochimaru would barely be able to stand with him coughing up blood and gagging. Naruto's punch that he delivered and the knee to the neck area, oh my god, that's just devastating pain. Orochimaru would barely be able to breathe, with Naruto basically not letting up. He would be delivering kicks, breaking ribs, breaking legs, kicking Orochimaru's knee backwards, slamming Orochimaru into the pavement, to the roof area of the Hokage mansion, and grabbing Orochimaru by the face, sticking his fingers into Orochimaru's face and ripping off his face. Orochimaru would use his snake shed thing and appear out of the body, although he still was heavily drained of chakra and damaged. Orochimaru, and this is where Kimimaru, I think that's not his name. I don't think that's his name, Kimimaru. I think it's his name. I think so. He would come in and he would take the rest of the Sound 4 out of there. They would all poof away in smoke and retreat for now. And this is where the Hokage, Hiruzen would just be battling. He would be back up and he would say, "Oh, thank you, Naruto. You saved me." And this is where Naruto would turn into a smile. He's saying, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for the challenge. I wanted to see if this guy had something he could bring to the table. I wanted to see if he had something he could offer me. But little do he know I was disappointed. He offered nothing but disappointment." And this is where Naruto would just slam his foot into the ground and grit his teeth. and just flex his muscles as he gets so angry that this wasn't even a challenge for him. And he's wondering if he should have went after that Gaara guy. Meanwhile, back with Sasuke versus Gaara and Sakura being there to help, Sakura would get caught onto the tree, and this is where Sasuke and Gaara would get into their fight, and it would go the same, not the same, because Sasuke doesn't have the curse mark. Sasuke would be hitting Gaara with so many barrage of punches, even grabbing Gaara's big ass arm and slamming Gaara against the ground. Gaara would get in some hits too, punching Sasuke in the rib area, punching Sasuke in the face, slamming Sasuke against the ground, grabbing Sasuke by the face and running him through trees. Sasuke would manage to get out of Gaara's grip and punch Gaara in the chest area with a devastating punch, almost making Gaara's heart stop. Gaara would back up from this and cough up blood and then get angry and turn into his mini Shukaku form. This is where Sasuke would say, you know something? I'm gonna unleash my eyes. I didn't use my eyes against you in the tournament area because I didn't feel like I would need to use my Sharingan. But this is where Sasuke would reveal, opening his eyes to reveal the 3 Tomoe Sharingan. And this is where Sasuke would say, nothing you can do would hurt me. And Naruto. Damn, why do I keep saying that? Sasuke would rush at Gaara and deliver a huge fireball. And this is where Gaara would hit his stomach and do like an airball jutsu, something like that. He would say air bullet jutsu. But little did Gaara know, that only made the fireball that was coming towards him bigger and hit him, like increasing the damage on his body. Gaara's body was ravaged. So you know how Gaara looked when Naruto did that 2K barrage or something like that? That's how Gaara's body would look. It would be heavily battle damaged. And this is where Gaara would get mad and turn into his full Shokaku form. And this is where Sasuke would be at a checkmate. Well, not a checkmate, a stalemate, because he has nothing up his arsenal to deal with something like that. Or does he? So Sasuke would be looking at Gaara and he would say, you know, I was learning this jutsu while I was vigorously training as hard as I did. I put all my efforts into learning this jutsu, into mastering control over my Sharingan, and to adapting the speed process of my lightning style. This will be the first time I've ever shown anyone this jutsu. You should be lucky. As Sasuke would shoot 2 fireballs in the sky. And this is where Sasuke's eyes would just be looking at Gaara as his Sharingan would be active. And Sasuke, the clouds would begin to go black. And Sasuke would raise his hand up into the air, and you would see this tiger-like animal appearing in the sky. And Sasuke would look at Gaara and the Shukaku and say, "Be gone," with the thunderclap. Kidding. And the tiger-like thunder would shoot down and hit Shukaku, basically waking up Gaara, and the whole thing would poof into smoke, with Gaara falling down, barely being able to even move his body. Most likely, he might be dead. Sasuke would look down and say, did I overdo it? So he would jump down and run over to Gaara and kneel next to him, and Gaara would say, what do you want? And this is where Sasuke would give Gaara the talk no jutsu, saying, you know, it's more to life than being like you are right now. It's more to life than being an asshole or a murderer. You gotta find peace within yourself. As, you know that one guy that you seen earlier? Yeah, who are you talking about? I know you've seen him. Naruto. He has red hair, kid who's beaten Kiba in the tuning, first part of the tuning exams. And he would say, oh, that guy. Believe it or not, he harbors a tail beast just like you do. Well, he's the same as you do. I wouldn't say Sasuke would say he has a tail beast, because I don't think he knows that Naruto has a tail beast. So he would say this to Gaara. I think he's the same as you. He's always been alone, always been training though. He's never really cared too much about making friends. But you, on the other hand, you were treated illy by your village. You were treated so terribly that people looked at you like a monster, and so you became what they sorted you out to be. Instead, become something different. Change yourself. You have the potential to become greater, Gaara. Anyway, if you don't choose to become great, well, next time, I'm not going to hold back on you. I'm going to kill you right here. So you might want to think about that next time you decide to attack the Leaf Village or to be seeking blood. Sasuke would walk away, and this is where the sand would fall off of Sakura, and he would catch her in his arms, and he would say, why did you come here if you knew you were just going to get in the way? I'm starting to see what Naruto means now. And this is where Sasuke would walk back to the village, leaving Gaara there to think about all his past life and what Sasuke said to him. And this is where Gaara's change would begin to happen. As we cut back to the village, Naruto's just basically training, doing push-ups, sit-ups, crunches, weightlifting, sparring, fighting, kicks, throwing, even mastering a few jutsu, even trying to learn more about his nature and what his nature is. And he would go to the third Hokage as the cleaning up would begin and everything would go to normal. No funeral would happen and everything would play out as it did in normal canon. But it wouldn't, just the only changes is Sasuke is the one who beat Gaara and Naruto saved the Hokage. So these two have stopped two deliberately attacks, so they're going to be noticed for this. And so as all the cleaning up continues and the weeks progresses, the Hokage would come to Naruto and Naruto would come to Hokage and say, do you have any way I can check what my chakra nature is? And the Hokage would give Naruto a piece of paper and tell Naruto to flood your chakra with it. If it wrinkles, you have lightning style. If it crumbles, you have some kind of, you know the gist. So Naruto would find out that his chakra nature is wind. And this is what Naruto would do various amounts of training in his wind chakra nature. But now we're getting into the part where Hiruzen has called Naruto and Jiraiya to his office, with Naruto saying, why do I got to be here? I have training to do, old man. And this is where Hiruzen would say, I know, Naruto, but I need you to go with Jiraiya. And Jiraiya would fill Naruto in on saying they're going to get the new Hokage for the village. And that being the fifth Hokage, Lady Tsunade. Well, the Sannin Lady Tsunade. And Naruto would say, do I get a chance to fight her? I want to see if she's Hokage material, as this guy has proven to be very strong. Even beat me once. Only once, though. That's when I was 4 years old. So this is where the story would continue with Naruto and Jiraiya going to get Lady Tsunade. Thank you guys for joining me on What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Yujiro Hanma Part 5. I enjoy all the support you have given me so far. Now, if you guys want a Part 5 to What If Naruto Was Yujiro's Reincarnation, smash that like button. I'm setting the like goal to 200 likes. If you want a Part 5 to What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Yujiro, you better smash that like gun and get to that 200 like goal. But without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night, and you already know the deal. Plus Ultra!